everybody, welcome back to Ursa Minor Sewing. Last time with our Haori we got as far as getting the sleeve sandwiched between the lining and the public fabric. So I'm hoping that in this video that we're going to get the rest of it done. We have a gusset to install in the back, and we have to put the two halves together and then get the collar on. So I'm hoping we can get all of that put into this one video, and hopefully I can edit it down to less than 15 minutes. So let's see if I can do it. Over to the sewing machine. Let's go. Okay, so the next step is working on our gusset piece. We've got it here, and just need to take them and right sides together. You're going to run it through the sewing machine. First, with right sides together, you're going to do this upper section and then a seam along the bottom section. Then you're going to flip it right side out and then baste along the long sides here. Okay, so I'm going to take care of that here. Okay, so I've got this all pressed and basted and ready to get put in. So we're going to take 1/2 of our piece here, and I've turned it right side out so you can see. But what we actually need to do is pull it like this so that the sleeve is once again sandwiched in between the public layer, like that, and the lining is out here out of the way. Ooh, apparently I've still got a pin in there somewhere. There it is. Okay, and now that we've done that, I'm going to make a bit of room here so you can see. You're going to take your gusset piece and finding the notch here and the notch on the back. There is one, there it is, right there. You're going to line them up. Just like that. And then just pin this in place the whole way down. And don't be surprised if when you get to the bottom there's overhang, because that's your seam allowance. You have to sew over that. Okay. As a matter of fact, if you probably measured it, it would probably be about 5/8. And the top of this should come to rest right at one of your marked circles. I think that's a small circle on your public piece here. And you're going to baste this into place. Okay, so just run this through about at a 1/2 inch to 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. That way when we actually go to sew it, it's not going to show. So now that I've got it basted on this side, I now have to baste it. Oops. Everything's falling all over the place here and I can't tell what I'm doing. No, you guys really shouldn't be following me. I have no clue what I'm doing. Anyway, now you're going to take this piece here. See, this is our sleeve sitting here. And you want to take the other side and baste it to this side now. Make sure that all of your markings are lined up. Just like that. Mostly your notches. If your notches are lined up, you're doing pretty good actually. So there's a notch there. And a notch here. And remember, there's going to be that little bit of seam allowance at the bottom. Like that. And just baste that in place. Oops. So now you should have something that looks like that. See the gusset? There it is. And you should have, like, here's your lining, here's your, basically kind of sort of looks like your sleeves did when we turned the sleeve pieces inside out. So, and then there's the sleeve dangling in the middle like that. Okay, now what we need to do with this now is bring the edges together, this. We're going to go sew down from the base of the sleeve here, all the way down to the edge, front edge, or is this the back edge? This is the back edge here. You don't want to sew up the sleeve area. But again, make sure that your notches are lined up, okay? So, and make sure that you're not sewing that extra layer of fabric there. Want that to stay loose. Okay, so now you're going to pin your edge together. You're sewing through a bunch of thicknesses. You're going to sew from the base of that sleeve there all the way down and around to here, and make sure that you're not catching that extra fabric in between. Okay? Okay, so now that you've got that other seam taken care of, you want to come and do this side. So where's my lining? Do this. Remember, you got to sew over that gusset. Remember, lining up your notches and your corners. Just going to pin this together really quick and then run the seam. And just make sure that you've got that gusset sandwiched between the two, and make sure that this seam is open and no puckers start. Okay, I'll get that sewn together and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've gotten the piece all sewn. I'll show you what it looks like now. Get the machine out of the way. And there's a gusset installed in there. And I also went ahead and I did the other half as well. There it is. There's the gusset inside. On the other side. So the next part of this is putting the two halves together. So you're going to take it along the center back here and turning one of them inside out. If you're having a hard time finding which one is center back, look for the piece that's got 3 notches. That's generally the indication that that's center back. And with right sides together, this is going to be really tough though. Once again, you're going to turn this into a balled up mess. Just start matching things up. Start with the lining because it's the slipperiest. You're probably going to have to use quite a bit of pins to get it to stay put. But match up your notches. Got 3 of them there. Match up your seams. And just keep going all the way around until you have this whole line, even your last 3 notches lined up. And then run the seam. And when you run the seam, be very careful that you're not sewing anything into the seam that is not supposed to be sewn in, because with all of this twisting and turning, something is bound to get in the way. So I'm going to go take care of that. So you've got all of my seams pinned open. I'm going to go take care of this, and I'll be right back and show you what it looks like. Okay, now that we got that seam taken care of, I'm going to turn the garment. I'm going to turn the garment right side out. Just like that. Actually, one thing I would recommend doing is before you turn this thing completely right side out, is go to this seam at the bottom where you have all those seams intersecting right here, and just give it a trim down. Just like that. And now that you've got that seam, you want to go and press this, and then you're going to take these edges, these raw edges here, and you're going to pin them together and baste them before we put the collar on. So I'm going to do that pressing, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I got the lining and the facing fabric pinned together and basted, which is this diagram here. I am skipping directions 12 and 13 because I don't intend on putting a loop on this. So I went straight to the collar, and I prepared it by sewing down the end that has the 3 notches, and then on the side that doesn't have any notches I have folded over and pressed 5/8 of an inch. The white stuff you see is lightweight, non-woven, fusible interfacing. The next thing you want to do with this is you're going to fold it in half like this, and then let this fold back, and you're going to start sewing right here and sew the 2 ends together. Just like that. And then you're going to turn it right side out. Before you do that, you might want to clip a little bit of this away so that you get a nice corner. Just like this. So you want to turn it right side out and press it completely in half. Okay, so now I've got it pressed in half. What you want to do is take that seam that you didn't turn under, and starting at the center back, you're going to line up the seam and the notches like so, and just go all the way around this, pinning it down. Once you've got it all pinned all the way around, you're going to run your usual 5/8 of an inch seam. Okay, get this all pinned all the way around, and then run a 5/8 inch seam, and then I will show you what to do for the next step. You should have something that looks kind of like this. Okay, I'm actually going to give something just a quick try here. see if I can get in here and save myself a hand stitching job. In here, line it up. Oop, I just might be able to pull this off. Alright, just going to trim my tails. Alright, now what you need to do is you're going to push this seam inside like so. It might even help if you press this first, actually. You're going to push this in like so and then fold this over top and pin it down. So what I'm going to do is actually go press this out really quick so that this is inside, and I'll come back and I'll show you how to get this all closed off. Okay, so I've been reading the directions here, and they actually want us to stitch this down using the machine. So what you're going to do is take the band, and you want to move that folded edge as close to the stitches as possible, or even a little bit over if you can, and just pin it in place. Actually, probably better to go this way. All the way down and around. Okay, so I've got it all pinned, as you can see, and now I'm just going to run it through. And what you want to do is you want it to be fairly close to the edge here, so you want to get it in there, and then keep it about a needle's width, your top stitching. So you're going to keep it a needle's width from the edge of the fabric, and this is probably going to require you to go really slow. Let's just get it started and see how it goes. Seems to be going pretty good so far, so I'll finish up here and see you on the other end. And there it all is. All top stitched down nice and neat. And we're pretty much done, except there's a couple more things that I want to do with this. So, thank you guys for joining me for this round. In the next video I'm going to do a little bit of embellishing. So, until next time guys, happy sewing!